evening, good morning, good afternoon, even time, whatever time you're listening to this. This is Jock and Jeff back for another roving report, a roving bugman report. Jeff has been out and about. You've been in Acton today, haven't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Acton area. Beautiful spot. Yeah.
We're going to roll up my sleeves here. We've got, we're going to have a little bit of a fun thing. Normally we talk about pests and things, and we will get into pests, but
yeah,
let's just have a bit of fun and test Jeff out on his knowledge of Acton. Okay. We're gonna. It's not a quick fire quiz, Jeff, but I'm going to see what your knowledge is of Acton, right?
Okay.
Right. Acton's got a rich history of gold mining and ranching. If you could go back in time, Jeff, and live in any of Acton's areas, or live in any of Acton's past time, right? Which time in the past would you go back to, and why?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I would say it was probably a real fun area to be in, probably right around the late 1800s. It was probably the Wild Wild West.
Is that more about the ranching side of it, or more about the gold miner?
Yeah, I would say a little bit of both, of course. The ranching side of it, because there's a lot of grazing area there, so you probably got some great steaks. But I mean, think about it: if you were a prospector and you did strike gold, one of the things you're going to do is you're going to go down into town and you're gonna feast on a nice steak dinner. I mean, get some ribs, something. And those ranchers are there to make sure you've got some good meat. And so
go into Miss Molly's entertainment house or something. No matter,
oh
don't
yeah,
know what her name
of course.
was, but...
knock back a few, down a steak. Enjoy the entertainment.
Right. See,
and hope the piano player makes it through the night.
Yeah. See, you guys think we're just all about pests or not? We look this is history as well, right? History.
Oh yeah, history. Absolutely.
All right, Jeff. Let's go down. So, Acton is kind of known as a best kept secret, right?
Yeah,
in California.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and some say it's actually one of the best kept secrets in America. So
it really is.
So my question to you is: what is one hidden spot that you know, or a local spot that you know is the best kept secret for Acton?
So one of my personal favorites is there's a little restaurant. God, we gave it so many different names, and I can't remember its actual name, but it just sits right on the corner of an intersection, not far off of the freeway. But they've got great cocktails in that place. I'll tell you what, and just top shelf as far as that goes. But the food there is really good too. And I struggle with the name. I could drive you to it. Just can't remember the name of the place, And we knew some people that were right around the corner.
That's your hidden gem for the area.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow.
And just a great atmosphere. And but I mean, that's just one of a few different places there that have that great that feel. It's kind of quiet out there. It's kind of rural out there. Slower pace, which is nice. And I think that's why a lot of people kind of have gotten themselves a nice place out there as their either second place to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city, or maybe that's their primary residence because they're working remote. They can enjoy it out there, and you're not far from everything. I mean, you go up the hill, you hop on the freeway and go north a few miles, you're in the Antelope Valley. You hop on the freeway and go south a few miles, you're in Santa Clarita. So you're kind of in between. And the 14 tends to move along pretty good, even when it's trafficy. You can get up there and you can get moving. And I mean, it's only really trafficy during rush hour, either direction, because there's so many people commuting from the Antelope Valley down to Los Angeles and everything. But, and then of course commuting home at night. But yeah, I mean, it's a great spot. It's a fun spot. And, to this day, there's still ranches out there where people, that are into horses have a lot of land, and, they just kind of do their thing. A lot of trails to ride out there. And some of our clients are up the dusty trails. Good set of all-terrains on the truck doesn't help.
I want to come back. I want to come back to the ranches, and talk about kind of
Yeah,
rodents and wildlife that have a problem there. But here's the thing. So imagine
yeah.
this. First Response Pest Control, Jeff, you get asked to develop and run a fun type festival, a quirky festival. What would the festival be about, and what kind of crazy competitions would you have in the festival,
Oh wow.
or events? And what would you call it?
Yeah. I know they already do, quite a nifty parade there during 4th of July. People that live there have kind of showed me that, and
But
we've
what
never
would you
made one
do?
yet, but we want
Would
to.
you have
But
like
what would I do?
a pest
Yeah, I
festival or
would.
something?
Yeah, I would do something real Western.
Right. Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, and have those kinds of events, and make it kind of like an old timey fair, where there's fun things to do, games and things. But you know, and being out there in kind of the country, so to speak, maybe have something where you got like the old school where they used to shoot the targets and things that were moving.
Yeah.
Because you got the hills as a backdrop, so it's really going to be safe if you set it up properly. And maybe use BB guns because people these days probably wouldn't like the real thing,
Oh,
but
I
it'd be a
used to
lot of
play with
fun.
them BB guns.
Oh yeah, you could have so much fun with it, and so that would be one of the little games. Maybe another one would be kind of the where you we swing the big sledgehammer and try to knock the thing up to ring the bell.
Wow.
The old strongman
Maybe you
test.
could take some ideas from Scotland and have like tossing the caber and throwing the welly.
Hey, now that would be fun as well. And
That
incorporate
would
it as well. I mean, those are
bring
fun.
a bit of Scottish heritage in there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and I'm sure some of the folks around town would definitely appreciate it. There's a couple of our clients in that area who happen to be of Scottish descent and a couple of Irish descent, and I mean, well, we're a melting pot here, so
That's brilliant. So,
yeah,
next question then, Jeff. As you know, Acton is Hollywood's a hop, skip, and a jump. To be honest, in the area,
it
right? And
really is. Yeah.
Hollywood has used that area for a lot of filming. So
A lot of filming.
you are you're being tasked to or no, not let me ask different. Not that you're being tasked. Let me see. What film
Mhm.
hasn't been shot there that you would have loved to have been shot there?
Oh wow, that's a good question. I mean,
Yeah.
you name any of the westerns, and I'm not 100% sure which ones have and which ones haven't. But there have been some, scenes and even TV shows that are more modern set. That you'll see a glimpse of something. I know where that is. That looks like that up that one, you know portion of Sierra Highway right there before you get into Acton, or if you're coming south as you get out of Acton. I recognize that, because you drive those roads, and so you
Yeah.
see it in a TV show or in a movie. You
Yeah.
go, hey, I know where
Ah, I know
that's
that
at.
one. I've been there.
Yeah. So there's some, and then of course the ones that haven't. I mean, maybe they found a spot that worked, but honestly, I would say yeah, it's a great locale for that. And it's funny you mentioned Hollywood. Some of the folks that reside in that area, or have their second home in that area. Maybe have their first home closer to Hollywood, but some of the celebrities have another, kind of like a retreat that they can go to
Yeah.
that's got some
Yeah.
acreage, and then that's where they keep all their horses and they go horseback riding. And when during hiatus time, or when they're in between movies or what have
Yeah.
you, and just kind of enjoy the good life out there, because like I said, it's very quiet. There's wildlife, there's lots to see, there's lots of trails you can ride. And like I said, even for us, we've got to drive up and down some dusty trails to get to some of our clients. So the all terrains really help on the truck quite a bit as far as that goes. And but and that's the thing. You're not going to find dirt roads in a lot of places, but you will find them there, and then you'll find the paved ones as well. And but everybody out there just seems to be, for the most part, pretty relaxed, and it's got
Yeah.
a good relaxing environment.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a final. How many have I asked? I don't know, 4 or 5. Okay, I don't know what the number this is. All right, I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you a final question before we talk a little bit about some of the pests in the area. But um, And let's go with one of my favorite subjects, because the Wild West, California, some of these
Hmm.
ranch areas, there's a lot of sinister tales, haunted legends, haunted places.
Oh yeah.
So what haunted myth or haunted legend do you know about that you would think, okay, there's probably some truth to that?
I haven't really delved too much into any of the lore there for that area, and I wonder if there is because it does have a rich history.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
I actually, ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there and Jeff don't know, right, the roving
yeah,
bugman does not know of these legends, which is a shame, really, because so educate him. Let
yeah.
us know. Send us your stories, your legends, your spooky legends, so that the next time I ask him a question on here, he'll have the answer on the tip of his tongue.
There you
So
go.
we'll do that. All right, Jeff. So listen, I want to jump back onto the ranches because
Yeah.
obviously, well, some of these ranches out there, they're in they're a potential threat
Hmm.
of rodents,
Oh yes.
stinging insects, and stuff like that. So let's talk a little bit about that for what ranches should be looking at doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, what we've run across on some of the properties out there that, let's say, are pretty decent sized, and they've got, a barn, and then they've got like, another area where they get their hay deliveries made and stuff.
Yeah,
You nailed it with the stinging insects during the wasp season. A lot of
yeah,
wasp nests show up, in the overhangs of the barns, and in some cases, like on one property, they have, everything's done with that piping, the welded piping, like what do you call it? The ABS piping
yeah.
is what they make a lot of the corrals and everything out of, and that's like a good galvanized piping that doesn't rust or anything. But sometimes the ends are open, and the wasps will make their nest inside there. So then you go to open it, and then you get swarmed in the face by all these wasps. And it's happened to a couple of our clients where they said, "Hey, do you have a second?" I said, "Sure, no problem." I said, "I went to go open this stall over here, and I dare not touch it right now, but the pipe, it's got an opening at the top." And of course, we go
Hmm.
over to inspect it, and oh wow, you're not
Yeah.
kidding. 7, 8 wasps come out, and they're mad, and it's well, the metal gets hot, so that agitates them as well. So they're
I think
already in a
I'd be a bit
mood.
agitated at that point
Yeah,
and all.
yeah, being inside that hot metal pipe, I mean, they're already are kind of on edge and stuff. So, for us, it's no big deal. Oh, can let me grab something out of the truck, get a little B&G, maybe give a couple squirts, and let them know. Okay, give it a about 30 minutes, and then you're good to go. You open it, close that gate. You're not going to get swarmed or stung or anything like that. So, yes, you're right about the stinging insects.
And
Um, and
I want to
then
ask as well, because we have, in California, we also have invasive hornets, because we've written about
yes.
that, and we've talked about that on one of our episodes. Have you come across any invasive hornets, like the yellow-legged hornets and Asian hornets in?
No, we've been very fortunate so far and haven't
Well,
really
lucky,
run
yeah,
across those in that area yet. Thank goodness. And I hope it holds out. I will say
because
though,
they are scary,
about
anonymous bastards, basically.
oh yeah, and they're not nice, but I did run across somebody with a shed that they hadn't opened in a while in the Acton area. Uh, they made a discovery, and it sent them running for their home and straight to the phone, and got a hold of us. And of course, I called him back, and he says, "Man, these things are like the worst kind of bee or whatever I've ever seen. It's like they're on crack." Sure enough, it was bald-faced hornets that had set up shop
Bald-faced hornets,
inside.
they're
Oh
ominous.
man, ominous, and they're not
They are. I
friendly.
mean, them things are creepily haunted. Them things, they actually do.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And they
and
sound it as
unlike
well. When you hear the bald face when they're in that, they sound. They've got that distinct hum.
yeah,
That
they really do. It's like it's like you can't mistake it, like a helicopter, or something, but more like an attack helicopter. You just kind of know that
like a
sound.
Black Hawk
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And
or
so
A Huey, probably an old Huey
yeah, one of
from
those big
the
Hueys,
Vietnam days.
and unlike what you're used to seeing in a wasp or hornet, where it's yellow and black, these guys are white and black, and
Mm.
and they're just they're just not friendly. They're far from friendly.
They look menacing as well, actually.
They look really menacing. Yeah, if you get a chance to look at a picture
And
of
you're
a
looking,
bald-faced hornet, you'll see they're not very kind.
they got a fair size on them.
They do. They've got a fair size and quite a wingspan, and they'll go straight for you. I mean, they don't have a curved flight path or a zigzaggy flight path like a yellow jacket. They just come straight at you, and
But I mean,
so you
wait a
want to
minute though.
suit up.
Yellow
Yeah.
jackets, ladies and gentlemen, if you come across yellow jackets in Acton, you really need pros to deal with it, because yellow jackets are not, they really are not to be messed with. I mean, they're intelligent, they'll chase you.
Oh, yes.
Zigzagging and you running away is not going to matter. You
No,
know, when you're
no, they'll
dealing with
get
yellow
you.
jackets, you really need pros to deal with that, because they're really
Yeah.
dangerous, and they're multiple. You know, they'll sting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They don't just get one shot at it like a bee. So I'll take yellow jackets we've dealt with, especially in the Acton area. I wouldn't say they're good for that area. For us, has been good for 2 or 3 yellow jacket cases every year. Not too many of the bald faced hornets. It's been a good few years since, and it was in one of those tough sheds, and they found a way in and set up a home for themselves. But we took care of them, of course. That's what we do.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
suit up on those jobs. You don't want to mess around, because even as a professional, you got to know your limits, and you put on the beekeeper.
And also, you've got to be respectful, because I mean, that is Mother Nature. There's a reason they're like that as well. You've got to show them some of the respect, because when you show that respect, you're not gonna just run into something blind.
Exactly.
Because that could be really dangerous.
Yeah, that's how injuries happen on the job. Honestly, is people just getting overconfident and thinking, "Oh, I don't need the safety gear. I'll be fine without it." And then, the next thing you know, you're treating stings, and it's like, well, yeah, take the extra moment. Yeah, it's hot, and it's even hotter in a beekeeper suit, but put one on, because, man, these guys they're no joke. They don't play around, So, like you said, respect them, because these guys are, they're survivors, and they're good at what they do.
So before we jump in and I ask you the kind of final question that I always ask you when you're out and about, but I want to understand, I want to know, or I wanted to educate people out there as well, is maybe the type of species of ants that they should be aware of. Now, we know about the Argentine ants; they're all over California.
All over, of course. Yeah.
What other species of ants should our homeowners in Acton be wary of?
Right. So we've found in Acton, of course, the pharaoh ants. It's a commonality in a lot of houses. Odorous house ants, right? But outdoors, we found the imported fire ant. We found
they're
nasty critters. We found, of course, the California fire ant. That's an area that is ideal for them. Because there's a lot of areas where the yard is mostly
in all
soil.
honesty as well, people may not know this, but the fire ants are invasive. They're not of America. They're really from South America. They come from the jungles.
That's right.
They were brought over here. They were actually brought over here. Man's stupidity, and brought them over. I mean, not really man's stupidity, because anything can become invasive when it gets away in. And there's so much shipping. And then during even the Vietnam War and everything, a lot of these pests came in. From Asia and from other areas. So people think that, they always think that, and I'm fascinated. They think that fire ants are they're just part of American culture. No, they're not. They're invasive.
They're not. Yeah, there was a time way back when we really didn't have these. Yeah, and now we deal with them on a regular basis. So, like you said, we kind of take it as, oh well, these are just here. But yeah, back when they weren't, and
they very quickly, when they're being attacked, they send out that signal, and they can just,
that's right.
I don't use the word swarm, but they just come at you.
Right, they really do. And I mean, or with fire ants, if you stand on one of their mounds, you'll have 7 or 8 of them on your leg before that pheromone goes out to sting, and they all sting at the same time. So when you feel it, in 7 or 8
That's why they're called fire ants, because it's like freaking hot coal.
Oh yeah, it's like somebody.
I remember the first time I came to America from Scotland, and obviously we don't have any fire ants here. So of course, me being me, I'm quite fascinated about, and I learned about fire ants the hard way. I stepped on a mound.
Oof, man, yeah, that'll do it. And I
Within
just to get it
seconds,
out
they were
there
on me.
for educational purposes, what a lot of people don't realize is if you catch it in the first 15 minutes and you do a solution that's 50% bleach and 50% water, and you put it on a cotton ball and you dab it on the areas where you got stung, it'll save you from getting the pustules. Something in the bleach, I'm not sure 100% how it works, but I just know it works. It's an old remedy. It breaks down the protein that causes you to get a pustule at the sting site. So I make a point of telling everybody that, and since it's on a podcast, the more people that know, the better. So if you find
Absolutely.
yourself stung by fire ants, just
Yeah.
remember 50% bleach, 50% water, put it on a cotton ball, dab it on all the spots where you got stung. It soothes it right away, and you won't get the pustule, because that's usually the worst part is you get that
As you get the
pustule afterwards
pustules,
and it
I had
burns.
them and that's when
Oh,
I had them. It was it was
man.
killing me. I couldn't believe it came all up. But here's the other thing I want to talk about, because people don't realize that there has been in America, and in California, and also in Florida and some other areas, there has been cases where the fire ants have actually caused a death, because
Oh,
there's
yes.
a problem. You have anaphylactic shock, but also imagine if like a pet or a baby can get
Mhm.
taken on by these fire ants, and before you
Yes.
know it, that toxin that's inside of them is affected them. So there has been a few deaths in America with fire ants, and
It's
that's something
actually
we
a
really
thing.
need to be aware of.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it can get, for a full grown adult man, it can be painful. But like you said, a baby, a pet, it can be, potentially deadly,
Oh,
and nobody thinks
absolutely.
about it. And these are tiny little red ants. I mean, they're not very large. So you think, how big of a threat can they be? But those stings, I tell you, it's not a fun
Well, okay,
situation at
we're
all.
going to go. We're going to go down this path. Let's go down this path, right? We're talking about
Yeah.
acting. There's talking about black widows, because black widows, you think they're tiny, but my God, they can hit a punch.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a neurotoxin. So,
That's a
you know,
neurotoxin.
yeah,
Not
absolutely.
many.
Yeah.
Not. I will get. Not many deaths at all, unless
Right.
somebody has an anaphylaxis from it. But
Hmm.
um, imagine your baby and stuff like that. I mean, you think about how small even a small black widow is. They are small.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, they do look menacing. But
Right.
and here's the thing that people, and I don't think a lot of people know this, Jeff, but every
Yeah.
single spider in the world bites. Every
Yes.
single spider. There's no. The only difference is that some species cannot penetrate human skin. They can't
That's right.
penetrate the epidermis, but
That's
other
right.
species can, and that's the only difference. Every one of them, every spider is venomous. Everyone,
Yeah.
even in
All of them.
Scotland, there's
Yeah.
venomous spiders because they're all venomous. They just can't
Yeah.
penetrate human skin.
That's it. This is absolutely correct. And not a lot of people do know that. So it's
No, I
good that
know.
we're getting that
See,
out there.
we're
Yeah.
all about the education, folks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then we tell, people when we're out in the field, they go, oh, I didn't know that. It's like, well, now that's the thing,
Yeah,
and because when we learn it, it's like, this is fascinating, but also,
yeah.
wow, everybody needs to hear this. Everybody needs to know this. Like, I want to make sure that I spread the word. Just like the bleach and water trick for the
That's
fire.
brilliant, actually. That's a great.
Yeah,
I'm going to pass that along. We'll make sure that we highlight that in our notes as well. So,
yeah,
Jeff, we're coming
absolutely.
to the end of our little roving report, or
Yeah.
bug a day in the life of the bug man. Still got it. I still haven't settled on a nickname for it, but anyway,
Yeah.
as I always ask, what's the worst case that you've had in Acton, pest
You
wise?
know, honestly, I would have to say it was probably the heaviest one that we dealt with was, and the most intense was probably that bald faced hornet, one that I discussed earlier, because it was
Yeah.
just, yeah, hey, there's something going on in my shed, and I'm like, I don't know what to expect. And he goes, I don't know if these are bees on steroids, or I don't know what these things are, but I've never seen anything like it, and they're scary. And I'm
Oh,
thinking, okay,
next case
yeah,
that we get of a bald faced hornet. We
yeah,
have to record it. We have to record the sound
absolutely.
and play it on an episode.
Oh, that sound. Yeah, it's such an ominous sound. Yeah, and
Yeah,
if you haven't
absolutely.
heard
Yeah.
it, yeah, it's worth recording it just to get the sound
Just to get the
and to
sound
see
out.
what
It's
they're,
crazy.
oh man, and then they're just so aggressive. so
They
very
are,
aggressive.
absolutely.
You know,
So
you come across a lot of insects that are, maybe partially aggressive, but
they're really
you'll know
aggressive.
when you're dealing with bald-faced hornets, they're just no joke at all.
Or fire ants. And here's another tip for you, ladies and gentlemen, for fire ants. I'll give you a tip. Don't go freaking near them. As simple as that.
Stay away from, get a pro. That's what I
Get a
always say,
pro.
because we have ways of dealing with them where we're not going to get
Absolutely.
injured. But people that don't know might get a little too up close and personal and end up getting hurt, and you got to really, like you said, respect these guys. I mean, they're good at surviving because they've got defenses built in that, and they're strong ones.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to an end of another one of our day in the life of First Response. Thank you for joining us. If you've got any questions, as usual, just message us, email us, put it in the chat. We will answer and help you out. Also, if you need any pest control service, if you see any pests, if you're even remotely enthused about these pests, then get in touch with us. FirstResponsePC.com, or give us a call, and Ash will take care of you when you get in touch with Ash in the office. Jeff?
Yeah, and if you mention the video that you saw on YouTube, give us a like, throw a comment on it. We'll get you a discount on that.
We'll get a discount. You mentioned the podcast and episode. And if you tell us, who you like better on the episode as well, that will vary. I'm only joking. We're not going to do it that way. But until the next time, guys, we'll be back with another day in the life report of. And anyway, here's the thing: you're listening to this. We're trying to get a little bit of a nickname for him, right? So why don't you share us? Everybody's called the Bug Man. I want something different. So let us know. We'll put this up on our Facebook page. We're getting a nickname for Jeff out there, the Bug Man, Roving Bug, whatever it is. Let's see what it is, and we'll give you a big shout out if we choose your name. So until the next time, guys. God bless. Stay safe.